Welcome to our channel. We're so glad to have you here. Today's story is one that will leave you inspired and thinking about the power of kindness. As we dive into this incredible tale, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Whether you're across the street or around the world, your thoughts mean the world to us. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss out on our next special story coming tomorrow. Stay tuned for more amazing moments. He wrote to a billionaire CEO. What happened after will shock you. Meet Ethan, a 10-year-old boy with a heart full of dreams. Living with his mother, Sarah, in a modest apartment, Ethan faced the kind of challenges no child should ever have to endure. His mother, a single parent, worked long hours at a local diner, struggling to keep their small family afloat. The bills kept piling up, and the weight of responsibilities seemed to hang heavy on Sarah's shoulders. Yet, despite the hardships, Ethan never once complained. He understood the sacrifices his mother made for him every day. And while others might have seen their circumstances as a burden, Ethan saw it as an opportunity to make a difference. Instead of allowing the difficulties to weigh him down, Ethan channeled his energy into something positive. He was determined to make his mother smile, to give her a break from the exhausting routine that consumed her life. Ethan had a big heart and an even bigger dream. A dream that was simple yet powerful. He wanted to see his mother happy, even if just for a day. One evening, as Sarah sat at the kitchen table, sorting through bills, Ethan had an idea. It wasn't a grand gesture, but rather a small, thoughtful one. With a crayon in his hand and his mind set on something that could change everything, he began writing a letter. It wasn't addressed to Santa Claus, nor to any politician, but to someone far more unexpected. Mr. Johnson, the CEO of one of the biggest tech companies in the United States. Ethan poured his heart into the letter, explaining how hard his mom worked and how she never took time for herself. "I don't want money," he wrote. "I just want you to make her happy. Maybe a day off or a surprise. She deserves it." It wasn't about wealth, fame, or anything materialistic. Ethan's request was born from pure love, a child who just wanted to see his mother smile. Little did he know, this simple letter would spark a chain of events that would change their lives forever. The letter, written in crayon with so much heart, was sealed and sent off, and Ethan waited with a quiet hope that felt like it might never be realized. He wasn't sure if anyone would even read his simple words, let alone do anything about them. But as days passed, life continued with its regular challenges. Sarah, his mother, continued to work late into the night, always tired, always giving. And yet, Ethan held on to his dream that somehow, someone might hear his plea and bring his mother a moment of joy. Across the city, in a towering skyscraper, Mr. Johnson, the CEO of one of the largest tech companies in the country, sat in his luxurious office. His day was filled with meetings, emails, and decisions that shaped the world. But that morning, something different caught his attention. A small, crayon-written letter arrived at his desk. It wasn't the kind of document he was used to. There were no figures, no corporate jargon, just a simple request from a child. As Mr. Johnson opened the letter, he was taken aback. The innocent words seemed so pure, so genuine, that for a moment, the weight of his empire seemed to lift. Ethan's letter, so filled with hope for his mother's happiness, spoke to him in a way no board meeting or proposal ever had. As Mr. Johnson read through the letter, he could almost hear Ethan's voice, the unspoken plea of a boy who wanted nothing more than to see his mother smile. Ethan had asked for nothing extravagant, just a simple wish for his mother. A day off, a small surprise. It was the kind of wish that Mr. Johnson himself had taken for granted. He was a man who had everything, wealth, success, status. But in that moment, he realized that he had something Ethan didn't. He had the power to make a difference. The letter had an unexpected impact on Mr. Johnson. It haunted him, kept him up that night as he thought about the sacrifices made by mothers like Sarah, the tireless work they put in for their families. The next morning, he made a decision that would change everything. Instead of his usual routine, he picked up the phone, not to his assistant, not to a business partner, but to Sarah herself. "Your son wrote me a letter," he said when she picked up. "I want to meet him." The seed of something extraordinary had been planted. And now, everything was about to shift. The next morning, Sarah sat at her kitchen table, sipping her coffee and glancing over the bills that seemed to never end. It was the same routine every day, working hard just to keep the lights on, never taking time for herself. Ethan, however, had a different energy that morning. He was nervous, but his excitement couldn't be contained. His mother didn't know it yet, but everything was about to change. Then the phone rang. Sarah hesitated for a moment, unsure whether it was another telemarketer or a bill collector. When she picked it up, the voice on the other end was unexpected, deep, calm, and authoritative. "Hello, is this Sarah?" the voice asked. She confirmed, still unsure what was happening. "This is Mr. Johnson," the voice continued. "I'm the CEO of Tech Dynasty. Your son, Ethan, wrote me a letter. I'd like to meet him." Sarah blinked, almost dropping the phone. She thought it was some kind of joke or prank call. "Is this a scam?" she asked, her voice filled with disbelief. Mr. Johnson reassured her, explaining that he had received Ethan's letter and was deeply moved by the young boy's simple yet powerful request. "Your son reminded me of something important," Mr. Johnson said. "Real success isn't just about money, it's about making a difference." As Sarah processed the surreal conversation, her mind raced. A CEO calling her, and about a letter from Ethan? But before she could ask any more questions, Mr. Meshuo Johnson made it clear he was coming over in person. Later that day, a sleek black car pulled up to their small apartment. Sarah stared in shock as Mr. Johnson stepped out, a man dressed in a sharp suit, far from the typical figure she'd expected. Ethan, sensing something was different, stood beside his mother, wide-eyed as Mr. Johnson smiled and walked toward them. "You must be Ethan," Mr. Johnson said, bending down to meet Ethan's gaze. "You have no idea how powerful your words are," he added, his voice warm with genuine admiration. Sarah stood frozen, unable to comprehend the situation. Mr. Johnson wasn't just here for a photo op or a quick gesture. He had something real to offer, something that would change their lives forever. "I didn't come here to give you money," he continued, "but to offer something that will last. Your son reminded me that sometimes the smallest gestures can have the biggest impact. I want to help, starting with a job for you, Sarah. A good one. One that will allow you to spend more time with Ethan." Ethan's letter had set this chain of events into motion, and in an instant, their lives would be transformed forever. The next day, as Sarah was still trying to process everything that had happened, a sleek black car pulled up outside their small apartment. Ethan was standing by the window, eyes wide with anticipation, unable to believe what was happening. His mother, too, stood frozen, her hands trembling as she stared at the car. When the door opened, out stepped Mr. Johnson, the CEO of Tech Dynasty, the man who had read Ethan's letter and had come to their doorstep with a promise that would change their lives. "Ethan, it's a pleasure to finally meet you," Mr. Johnson said, bending down to meet the young boy's gaze. Ethan, still in shock, didn't know what to say, but the sincerity in Mr. Johnson's voice was enough to make him smile. It was surreal. This was the man who had everything, standing in front of them like an old friend, not a CEO. Johnson turned to Sarah, who was still struggling to comprehend the situation. "I didn't come here to offer you a handout," he said with a gentle smile. "I came to offer you something that will change everything. I want to offer you a job, Sarah, a high-paying one that will give you the time and security you need to be with Ethan. You've worked hard enough. It's time for you to have the opportunity to live and enjoy life as well." Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes, but she fought to keep them back. She had been struggling for so long, working endless hours just to make sure Ethan had what he needed. The idea of having the chance to breathe, to have time to just be with him, it was something she had longed for, but never thought possible. She couldn't understand why someone so successful would care so much about their little family, but the reality of it all was sinking in. But Mr. Johnson didn't stop there. "Ethan," he continued, "I want to make sure you have every chance to succeed. I'm offering you a full scholarship, a future without worry about your education. You deserve every opportunity life has to offer." In that moment, Sarah felt a wave of emotions flood through her: relief, gratitude, disbelief. She hugged Ethan tightly, tears streaming down her face, but for the first time in years, they weren't tears of worry. They were tears of joy. A simple letter, a small request, had led to a life-changing moment. Ethan had unknowingly opened the door to a future filled with hope, and for that, Sarah would be forever grateful. This wasn't just about money. It was about kindness, compassion, and the powerful ripple effect one small act of love could create. As Sarah stood there, still in disbelief, Ethan watched his mother's eyes fill with tears of joy. The offer Mr. Johnson had made, providing her with a job, a stable income, and the time to spend with him, was nothing short of life-changing. But Mr. Johnson's generosity didn't end there. I've seen so many people in my position focused solely on success in terms of wealth and power, he said, his voice full of conviction. But true success is about making a difference in people's lives. And right now, I want to make a real difference in yours. The sincerity in his voice and the way he looked at them both made it feel like a dream, one they had never dared to imagine. Ethan could barely grasp what was happening. His mother, who had worked tirelessly for so many years without ever asking for anything in return, was now being offered not only a chance to improve their financial situation, but also the chance to live with a sense of relief, something she hadn't known in years. Mr. Johnson continued, turning to Ethan with a smile. And you, young man, you're going to have every opportunity to reach your full potential. I'm offering you a full scholarship. You won't ever have to worry about your future. Ethan's heart swelled with emotion, knowing that this wasn't just about a letter anymore. This was about a complete transformation, not just for him, but for his entire family. The weight of years of struggle was finally being lifted, replaced by the promise of a brighter future. For the first time in a long while, Sarah let herself feel something other than worry: happiness. She embraced Ethan, holding him close as tears streamed down her face. But these weren't tears of frustration or fear. They were tears of gratitude, of a mother overwhelmed by the kindness of a stranger who had seen her family struggle and responded with something truly extraordinary. As the day wore on, Sarah and Ethan's world had shifted in ways they hadn't thought possible. It wasn't just about the material changes, though those were significant. It was about the new hope they had for the future. One small letter had sparked an incredible act of kindness that rippled through their lives in ways they would never forget. This was a reminder that sometimes the smallest gestures, like a simple letter written in crayon, can create the most profound changes. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this story. It's truly amazing how one simple act of kindness, a letter from a young boy, can change lives forever. Ethan's story is a powerful reminder that even the smallest gestures can make a big impact. We want to know what you think about Mr. Johnson's response and how he took action to help a family in need. Do you believe that acts of kindness like these are what truly define success? Have you ever witnessed or experienced a similar moment where kindness made a difference in your life? Or perhaps you've had a chance to make someone's day a little brighter with a simple, heartfelt gesture. We'd love for you to share your experiences in the comments below. Your thoughts and stories matter to us, and we want to create a space where we can all inspire each other. So please, take a moment to leave your thoughts, share your experiences, and let us know what you took away from this video. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to keep up with more inspiring stories like this one. Your support means the world to us.